great. Hi, everybody. This is Cypress again, and I am here with Lisa Genevieve today, who is an absolutely amazing channel. She and I met in a shamanic practitioner training that we did together for 3 years, and she's here to talk to you a little bit today about her healing modality and what she offers people. Lisa, thanks for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about your healing story. What have you been healing in your own life, and how did it bring you to this place?
Well, I could say the route that I probably got to this channeling thing that I do is my own dad died when I was fairly young. I was about mid-20s. And it really opened up a lot of questioning for me to ask the universe, what's the purpose? Do we have a meaning? Is there a meaning to life? And that kind of led me on a quest. I was just seeking and trying to find some answers to some of the big questions. And then eventually I went into a program. It was a master's in spiritual psychology. So that kind of answered some of the questions for me, because there was a lot of information there about how we have a connection to something grander than ourselves. And there were a lot of exercises in that program. It was a 2-year program about learning to hear the higher wisdom that can come through, like in writing, which really led to a lot of automatic writing for me, where I would ask questions and I was getting a higher vibration of an answer. It's like I knew it wasn't just my own ego self that was answering these questions. And so that was another way that I was kind of led to a modality of having questions answered. And so basically that was the beginning of it all. And then I found this other program that was the 3-year program in the shamanic healing. And that was when I moved to Colorado to be here for that program. And during that program, there was a chapter or a unit on mediumship. So mediumship is the ability to bring in another being's frequency for communicating. And I learned for the first time that I had a real knack for it. And up till then, I knew that I could get information, especially in the automatic writing. I could get the information and I could get the answers. But this was the first time I realized that I could actually voice the answers to people's questions. And so that's pretty much in a nutshell how it came to be.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I've experienced your channeling both in a group setting and in a private session, and it has been absolutely life-changing for me, really. Not only the information that you bring through, but just the vibration that you bring through. So tell us a little bit about the beings that you channel usually. I know that you can channel pretty much anybody that you want to, probably, but tell us a little bit about the beings that you work with regularly.
Well, I'll tell you kind of how it came to be, is that in my daily meditations, I would ask for what's the highest frequency of information I could reach. So like, in what way did I need to change my own vibrational frequency to reach higher and higher beings and other dimensions or other frequencies. And so that's how it started to be, is that it was like I knew that I was reaching higher and higher levels of information, and like a higher and higher field of information or vibration. And so my question always was, how can we relieve some of this human suffering? And that was always my intention, was I'd go into this meditation and, ask for assistance and ask to be guided toward and led toward whatever vibrational frequency of being would be willing to assist. And at one point, it just sort of landed on these light beings that said that they were answering the call. They were answering the call for how do we relieve some of our human suffering. And that's when they really started coming through strongly, and me being able to voice them out loud, give them a voice so that they could speak to others out loud.
That's cool. And what did you have to do? What do you do to prepare your body to do that?
Yeah, so, when there's days that I know that I'm going to be doing the channeling, I just try to really have a great peaceful day, do my meditation, and it's silly, but they tell me don't eat dairy on those days because it must evidently like be too filmy or something for that. So that's just part of it. But I have a bit of a ritual that I do when I'm bringing them in, and I don't know if every channeler does that or not, or every medium does that or not, but they've instructed me that they like the sound of the tuning forks as a frequency that helps them resonate and to come in more clearly. And so normally when I'm doing a session, I'll use one tuning fork to kind of clear the space. It's like a deeper sound, like this one for me. This is what I would use to clear space. It's kind of this tone. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm about to bring them in, it's like we've created this like gateway to where I know that I'm going to be doing the channeling. They know they're going to be coming. And so this smaller tuning fork that I use, it's almost like in my mind's eye, it gets their attention that says that I'm ready and if they're ready, and it's this higher frequency tone. You can hear that. So it's almost like that's our indication that we're both ready. And then I do this bit of a toning. It's like kind of a humming. I don't know, you could probably describe it. You've experienced it better, but it seems to really solidify the connection. I guess that's the way I could say it, and bring that sound coming through from like almost like a musical tone into a vocal, into the voice, into words. Yeah.
And was it hard for you to go from, you said you started pretty much with automatic writing. Were you scared to bring them in through your voice, or was it hard to make the transition?
Well, truthfully, if we hadn't done that unit on mediumship in the training for shamanism, I don't know that I would have known that I could bring them through. But one of the first instances where we were working on a healing of some courting, the one that was leading me through this journey asked if there was anyone there that especially wanted to help with the cord cutting. And I brought through the voice of Athena, who was a goddess, who said that she would like to participate in that. And that's the first time that it really happened out loud. And it was because there was someone there to ask the questions. And then I was just answering the questions, not as myself, but allowing the vibrational frequency of the one that wanted to come and assist with the healing to go ahead and come through and answer the questions. And so that's really the only way that I knew that I could do it. And if I had never gone to that training, I don't know that I would know to this day that I could actually bring them through vocally. Mm-hmm. And then we did some other really amazing group practices where we would bring through like Archangel Michael, who's like such a cool dude, and we bring through, just other other light beings that could come and assist or wanted to come and just give us messages. Pretty much is what the mediumship world is about.
That is it's fascinating to me. And there's something that you do with crystals in your hand. Can you explain what you're doing with that?
Yeah. So I was at a gym show in Denver probably 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, I went up to this one booth, and the woman there, she was telling me that there were these certain quartzes that were from a really high altitude, and they were very clear, and I just had this thing where I needed two of them. And I didn't know why, I just wanted to go ahead and buy them. And when I was starting to do more and more of the mediumship or the channeling, I just was drawn to hold them, these two quartzes, and I thought that it was because they were going to be able to raise my vibration like to a higher level, and that maybe that was something that I needed to be able to kind of stay focused and to like really connect. But then it came to be that several people had asked about them during one of the sessions, because we would do these group Zoom sessions together and we'd ask questions. And someone asked about them, and they responded that they weren't for me to get to them, but because my physical body gets like really heated and really like the energy's like very big and very different than my own regular daily vibrational frequency. It's a very different frequency, and it causes a lot of sweating and heat and whatever. And they said that these actually are a way for me to kind of transfer some of that heated energy, like to just let some of that go through my hands. And basically that's just an assisting tool. Otherwise, maybe I would just sit here and be like a big old puddle of sweat. Who knows? So.
And one of the things I've noticed when you channel is that your voice absolutely changes. The cadence of your voice, the words that you use a lot of words that I don't normally hear you use in everyday language. Where do you go when you're channeling? When they're speaking through your voice, where are you?
Yeah, it's as if at the beginning, and it really does feel like a channel of energy has opened up, right? It's like the tuning fork at the beginning, or the small one, almost like automatically for for them and for me, it's opening up a gateway or just a path for them to come closer to me and me to come closer to them in some way. And as far as the voice goes, well, tell me exactly what the question was. Why does it?
Well, just like, where do you go? Because it's
I
clear
go?
that
Yeah.
you're not speaking.
Right. Okay, good. So basically, it feels like to me that by the time they've come really close, I've just stepped back out of the way. But I do hear what's happening, and I do like later on I can say, oh, they were talking to you about that, or they were talking to you about that. So I am there and I am present. It's not me and my mental or emotional or physical self anymore. It's their higher voice or their higher wisdom coming through, and I'm just kind of like my awareness is just a little bit back and letting them have the stage, I guess is the way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the thing about the voice, we asked them that question also in one of our sessions, and they said in kind of a funny way that it's not like they really have that voice, but it's like I was raised in the South and mostly in Texas, and I have a bit of a Texas accent, I've been told, and they've explained that the voice that's coming through, it's an interpretation. It's like my own interpretation of their higher energy has a much different cadence to it. It doesn't have an accent to it. It's a little more clear in some way, I would say, than my own everyday voice is. And well, you've experienced. Maybe you could speak to that. What do you feel a difference, like in the way I would normally speak and the way that they would speak?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I've noticed is that they think a lot more. Sometimes it takes them longer to find words, which you've explained in the past that English isn't their first language, and so they're a lot of the times like searching the dictionary or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who knows?
Oh, I have heard them say that they said, "Give us a moment, we're looking." Mm-hmm. Like they're looking for the answer in the field, maybe in the field. I mean, then you have to start to talk about, well, the collective consciousness of humanity. I mean, all the information that's ever been is in there somewhere. So they have the ability to go and find the highest answer or the best answer.
Yeah.
I think
that's really cool.
Kind of cool, yeah.
So do you offer sessions, like private sessions out in the world?
I do, actually. Most of the things that we've been doing in the last couple of years, it has been like Zoom calls, and I have a wonderful manager, Jessie, and she takes care of all the logistics of the Zooming and asking, letting the clients ask questions so that as many as possible of the clients that are there within the Zoom call can get an answer, which is great because when I'm in the session, my eyes are closed. And so it's not like I could just say one of you ask a question. So that's really great. It really facilitates that well. But yes, I have done one-on-one sessions where they just go ahead and they come through the same way I would normally do on a Zoom. But it's just client-based. So it's all about just that one person and what the answers they're seeking, or the healing that they're after, and I don't know, the light beings it's like an angelic realm of light beings, and they're here to help us heal, and they know what to do. I mean, and I just trust. So I get out of the way, and they can come through and help and assist in any way that they deem is necessary. Well, you could also speak to that because you came to do a session just so we could try it out once, mm-hmm. and tell them what you felt.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was most interested before the session in just being able to ask my questions and get them answered. But what I noticed during the session was that it felt like they were doing energy work on me. You know what I mean? So they were there, of course, to answer my questions, but they did so much more than that. They facilitated me opening a lot of different channels that are not necessarily usually open for me. So,
well, I have a question for you. Do you sense that there's a vibration that's coming through the voice? Is it a different vibration that you can actually feel?
yeah, I do think that it is. It's for me, in the way that I sense things, it's pretty subtle. But I do know that I've heard about people who have been with you and say it's not subtle at all. So what I will say wasn't subtle was the way that they facilitated me moving my own energy. You know what I mean? Yeah, because during my session they had me like screaming and moaning and all this, and it's what I really needed, kind of, to help open my heart and my throat.
Yeah.
So it was really powerful.
So cool. Very interesting. But thank you for the feedback, because I always wonder exactly how it's received.
And so if somebody wants a session with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, okay, so my website at the moment is on pause, but it's going to be up soon. So it is lisagenevieve.net, and you can reach me there, and you can also book an appointment there and find out some more, or email me and I'll email you back.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here and explaining to us what you do. It's a really amazing gift.
Wow.
I'm so glad that you are willing to give it.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, and what a pleasure. Really, what an honor to even do this work at all. I'm like very, very honored and feel blessed. And so thanks for all this that you're doing to get some words out about different modalities and ways that people can find healing in their life, and so that they can move on and be happier and freer, full of joy.
Yay.
Yay. Thanks.
Bye.